All right, good morning, everybody. Just getting started here, opening up the live stream for our Wednesday session. I see Michael has entered the room a little early, maybe 1 minute. Just want to... I'm getting used to this still. I still feel a little bit like a fish out of water. But yesterday we had a great session with our friend Martin from FX Synergy, and we were able to unveil our rapid fire entry tool for Forex trading using FX Synergy with our Trade a Day alert service. And I'm kind of interested to hear some feedback from anyone that's been able to install it. I know there are a couple people with some issues that we're going to have to try to troubleshoot and figure out. But I'm hoping also some of you were able to get it installed okay without any issues. So if you're in the room, and I realize we are a little early, please let me know. Let me know how it's going for you. Michael, can you hear me, by the way? Not sure. Okay, so people are starting to show up now. I see the attendance. There is a little bit of delay I have to get used to also. But if you can hear me, let me know. That would be great. Testing. It seems like I do have a signal, so hopefully you guys hear me. Okay, thank you, MJ. Appreciate that. So I got to jump on my other computer really fast and manage this possible trade here. Give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, so could you guys hear me? What I was saying is that with a click of a button, I was able to easily cancel this trade. It's one of the things I love about FX Synergy is that it just makes trading so easy. I left my stop up here around 27.5 after adjusting, and I didn't put it back. Really should put it back to 41. But the long is canceled, so just be sure you're not stopping and reversing to long. It looked like it was going to push lower, but it didn't. Now I'm thinking it's going to move higher again. But there you go. I might have to jump off and manage this trade in a moment. Hopefully it pushes down again. We'll see. Just barely getting or missing money management. As you can see, it stabbed down and missed it. And some of you may like to move your stop to money management when it misses by such a small amount. Sometimes I will, especially on a larger trade. This trade's kind of small, so I wanted to give it some room. But now it looks like it's finding support on the 50 moving average. So this might be one of those trades where you do want to have the stop up here because it could easily come up and test, fail to make a new high, and then push down. All right, so Dawn, I tried to send you the file, by the way, and Google didn't like it, and I see that it's sent without attaching. If you have a Skype handle and you want to email that to me, I could Skype you the file, and then we could see if that's going to work for you. I'm wondering if anyone is in here who has set up the rapid entry tool and is using it this morning and that it's working without any problems. If you're doing that, please let me know because I'm curious to know how it's working for anybody. I just used it myself 2 times with both these trades, the short and then the long, and then I just canceled the long. I use the rapid entry tool for both without any problems. So I just want to make sure that you guys someone is using the tool without an issue. Hopefully, maybe it's a little too soon. I did just, I put another download up there on the member site this morning that hopefully will work better for everybody. Always little bugs to work through when coming out with something new, but it shouldn't be too difficult to get it up and running. As far as what else is happening this morning, let's look at the crude oil chart. Crude oil down quite a bit, it looks like. And did this happen on time for us? Wow, look at that. So look at the sell-off. Yeah, so it looks like crude with a quick... That might have happened too fast. I don't know. Was anyone trading crude this morning? Because it looks to me like short at 54, but it might have went too quickly with an 18-cent target one and then stopping out at break even. And if that went too fast, you definitely had time here. And that was actually a better trade. So if you missed the first one, you got lucky because then you got this nice one that went through all its targets with a great move lower. And if anybody took any of these trades, let me know because crude oil has been really great. It's kind of back to its old self as it gets to these higher prices. We're seeing some nicer sized trades and just a lot more consistency. All right, let's just jump back over to the pound Aussie because it's trying to hit our money management again. And if it hits that orange line, I got to jump off and move the stop to break even. Giancarlo, you caught the crude oil trade. Which one did you grab? Did you get that nice blue one? All right, I got to get to break even here. Just give me 1 second. All right. All right, cool. Hopefully somebody's in this nice pound Aussie trade. It's close to target one. Didn't quite get there. There it is. Target one. Just double checking, and Synergy exited my position for me automatically. All with the rapid entry tool. It just makes trading such a breeze. I'm so happy with it. You guys will be too once you get it up and running. Paul Lever, rapid tool looks fine. Just tested it this European morning. Paul, so did you actually use it with the Discord signal, copy, paste? And are you sure you're using the rapid entry tool and not the prep tool? Because there's a prep tool that you have to enter manually, and the whole point of the rapid entry is that you just copy from Discord and then hit the parse button. So I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. Both tools are great, but the prep tool is where you manually enter the trade. Just to be clear. And if you are using the rapid entry tool, did you download it from the member site? And I guess it's working without a problem. So if that's the case, I'd like to know that, because I know there are other members that are getting errors, and I'm trying to track it down and figure out why. No, just use the manual tool, but testing it also with copying and prepare. Yeah, so remember when, okay, so let me see. I'm going to open up Synergy and just to show you again so you guys know and are clear what you have to do to set it up. Make sure you watch the video, because Martin goes through the presets that you're going to have to do. There are presets you need to set up in order to make it work. And if you don't do the presets, well, it probably won't work. So, and then let me see, where is it? Let me get this going here. I'll show you in a sec. So, Paul, you downloaded it and copied it over, and you didn't have any errors, correct? No, Don, the presets are in Synergy itself. You have to go into Synergy and set up the presets. And Martin walks through it in the video. So it's really important that you go through the video, and if you have to play it a couple times just to make sure you get it right, especially the front end where he's showing you what you need to do, you know, you just got to do that, because if you don't set it up right, it's not going to work. The TAD presets. The TAD presets. No, these are in FX Synergy. All right, so this is FX Synergy. And you get, first thing you got to do is go to Settings. After you've downloaded it, Advanced, and then you want to scroll down to where it says Default Order Tool. And then you got to open this little drop-down menu here. And you're not going to see it because it's hidden. You have to scroll down like this and go to Entry Tool. And you make that your default order tool. Okay, you got to do that. You also got to go to your presets, and you got to set up your presets up on this line properly. And I'm going to let you watch the video, because Martin explains it better than I can. And once you have it set up, you're good. But you got to do it. All right, so back to the advanced and setting up the entry tool. You could also enter a threshold, and I'm going to put 1.5 pips. And what that says is if you try to enter a trade that's too close to the market and the broker is going to reject it, then Synergy is going to just put it in as a market order within a 1.5 pips of the entry. And you could change that to 2 pips or whatever. Okay, so that's a number you might play with for a bit. if you find you're not getting filled on several trades, you might want to make it 1.7 or 2.3 or whatever. All right. Or 0. Maybe you don't want to get filled, but that's where you control your threshold for it going to a market order if you're too close to the market when trying to place your order. I seem to be getting some connection issues, and hopefully you guys can hear me still. I'm going to ask you guys just to continue to verify with me that you can hear me. All right, so once you've set up your advanced entry order, the reason you do that is so that, let me wait for this to populate here. So when you double click on the upper left corner with your left mouse, click, the entry tool opens up. Now you could still get to the prep tool, you just have to right click. So if you right click, now you can grab the prep tool. I don't even know what the sequence tool is, but it's there, and the entry tool. So the entry tool is our rapid fire entry tool. The prep tool is the one that you could enter manually, your trade, okay? So by setting it in the default the way I said, you can quickly go click, and it's just a faster way to get to it, right? So when the trade comes on Discord like this, let's go with this first one. This was the original short trade. All you have to do is copy it, Control-C on the keyboard, hit the parse button, and there's the entire trade. That's a long trade. And then when you hit commit, it places the trade. And is this even the right? Yeah, this isn't even set up yet. Anyway, that was yesterday's trade. But so if I hit commit, the trade is now in pending, and all the exits are already here. Targets 1, targets 2, targets 3, and target 4 is over here in the TP column. You see? And so like that's how I played my stop. That's how I placed my stop and reverse a moment ago. And then when it canceled, I just came over here and clicked that button and the whole thing's gone. Just like that. Pretty cool, yeah? Once you start using it, you'll see. And I got to move my stop again. So let me just jump off and move my stop to 79.16. 79.16, guys. Paul asking, do you think eventually Martin will get the tool to allow to copy other FX trade setups straight from TradeStation into Synergy, as I would like to trade FX in the European? Well, we are working on a tool like that. We're working on a tool that's going to be able to grab the trade out of TradeStation or NinjaTrader and then play. Yeah, we are working on that as well, Paul. So and actually Martin thinks it's almost finished. And the original reason was to make it so to make Kevin's life easier, so that Kevin can easily grab the trade and send it off without having to type it in, so he can get it to you guys quicker and without errors. There's still going to need some manual adjustments sometimes, but he'll be able to do that when it's necessary. So that's the reason behind the original intent. But then we thought, well, let's just make it available so that everyone can use it who wants to trade off their charts with FX Synergy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it also. Also, our Spotlight FX Alerts is on fire. I don't know if you guys are following that at all, but it's taken some patience. Daily charts. It's kind of like taking a seat for the, watching the glaciers do their track and field events. They move so quickly. Man, it's like watching, ice melt. And sometimes it's just so slow, but when it catches fire, it just zooms. And we're in a bunch of trades right now that are just soaring. And we're about, I think, I'm without doing the math, it appears to me we're going to hit all new equity highs as a result of these trades that we're in right now. So really exciting about Spotlight FX alerts. And it does take patience, because with daily charts, you go through these periods of where it doesn't seem like you're getting any traction, but then all of a sudden it happens. And that's just the way it works. That's the way this slow swing trading style works. You just have to be aware of that. It's not like a day trade, obviously. And I think I got to move my stop again. I'm going to leave it where it is. So the stop is at 79.14. So I leave it at 79.16 because I want to try to stay in the trade and hopefully push lower. Just barely missing target 2 there. So it'll be nice if we can get down. But you can see, these lines, the 200 moving average and the 50 moving average, they're sticky. You can see how the price has a hard time with them. It has to get through it, get back around, vacillate around, orbit around. Finally, it capitulates, but then it hits the next one. So hopefully it's going to push lower before it comes back up. But you could always expect a roadblock around the 50 and 200 moving average. That's why I use those to mark my chart. I'm not afraid of those levels. It's just that it prepares you for the ultimate or the eventual struggle for the price to get through. And those are testing areas on the chart. Let me remind you guys also that the crude oil report's not today. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow at 11 because of President's Day. So there's no crude oil report today. Today will probably be a pretty short session for us. Want to look at unleaded gas next. Unleaded gas futures. Looks like there was a sell-off. So going to our 9 a.m. start time, which was here, and you had to get in sync, it would have popped up and filled you right there. And hopefully you had time for that, but it did go through targets 1 and 2, and that's basically one and done. You have a little long trade here, and usually when you see the little wiggle that spikes up and down, those happen so fast that you typically can't place those trades. I don't know, maybe that didn't happen, but obviously that was a loser. But then you're lucky if it was a loser because that helped you catch a nice big winner. Sometimes losing is the best thing that can happen to you because it puts you in front of a big winner after. And the best story of that is when I was presenting my old strategy, the SST in Paris, and I had a bunch of people looking at our session. Will was back here calling the trade room while I was in Paris presenting the same trades, and the first trade loses, the second trade loses, everyone's shaking their heads, skeptical. But before they walk away, I shout out there's a new trade. It was a long trade, and it ran for $5, a $5,000 trade. And I was like so thankful that the earlier trades were small losses because our trade plan kept us in to catch the big winner. And you just got to remember, trade plans work in mysterious ways. And a losing trade is not always a bad thing. I know it feels like it when it's happening, but that's just you being a human being. You got to be the trader and the executioner. You got to be the person running your trade plan that you've proven to yourself makes money. And if you could put yourself in that position, losing trades, it's just part of the winning formula. That's the place you want to be when you're trading. If you can get to that place, I don't need to worry about you anymore. Let's look at the Dow E-mini. Lots of action early on, you could see. So this one happened too fast. That put us into this next trade was a long trade. And with the 14 tick momentum bar, target one becomes where you can take profit as our first objective. And it hits it. Good for 25 ticks, $125 a contract. And if that wasn't enough, nice short trade hitting all its targets, a nice long trade. Look at Spotlight Master Suite here, or Power Trader, picking up the V shape reversals. It's really good at that, actually. So several winners before a loss and then another winner. So plenty of chances to succeed with the Dowie Mini this morning. All right, so our pound Aussie so far is still surviving. Definitely slowing down. I mean, it's just slow plodding session. We'll see what happens. And then I wanted to follow up with something we were talking about in one of our earlier sessions. I thought I'd show it to you because it's really interesting. So this 60-minute chart, I've been trading it just for the heck of it. I want to experience what it's like because I've never really traded this time frame. Is this the same one I'm trading? Let me just double check something. Oh yeah, it is. I got the automation running. Yeah, I grabbed this one actually. Was it that one? Now I don't remember. Anyway, it's doing pretty good. That's the point. These 60-minute charts are a little tricky. You have to kind of figure it out. But that's, again, one of the things I love about FX Synergy is I could set up the trade so that at least I know when I'm sleeping at night, it'll move the stop to break even if I hit a certain level. So I don't have to really worry about much. I don't have to wake up and deal with the trade or whatever. And it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to have a trade on when you're sleeping, as long as you don't over leverage and you don't put on too much risk that you're worried about it. And then you have the trade completely managed. So I run this on a VPS virtual machine. So I know it's running 24/7. And I got Synergy managing the targets and the stop and moving the stop to break even. And I'm comfortable with that, with the right risk level. And so that's a great way to trade. And I'm exploring how Spotlight is actually, I'm learning from my own strategy. It's working on time-based charts, which I never imagined that it would. I always thought time-based charts were like just not going to work. But I'm finding out that time-based charts actually work really well as long as you handle the real small trades, the real small bars where not much happens. All right, so look at target 2 getting hit. So if you're in this trade, that's 21 pips minus maybe 19 pips after spread, give or take, and you should come off with another percentage of your trade. For me, it would be another 25% coming off. Of course, in Synergy, it would be 33%, right? Because after taking off the first position, there's 3 left. And so I want to take then a third off. And that's how Synergy works. So I had it set up. And I just look back and see that it has exited the trade for me just fine. So you could see with the balance line pushing down to 79.10 that the stop is going to move to 79.12. I'm just going to do that now because I know that's what's going to happen anyway. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Oh, yeah. And John, thank you for the reminder. I have lost track of time. It is the 17th, and we are rolling to the new contracts. Did crude oil, let me just double check something here. So usually by the 18th, we're going to be on the next contract, and that's going to be the J contract for April. I believe it's J. Just check my cheat notes here. Yeah, April, J. And John's saying that unleaded has already rolled over to J. But if you were trading H, I don't see a problem with that, except maybe the volume's not so high, but obviously a lot of winners. But let's go ahead and Notice that there's 15,600-ish, 700-ish contracts in the March contract. Let's go ahead and put in the J. And see what that shows. And John's saying that the volume hasn't migrated yet on crude. It will by tomorrow. So yeah, 37, much more than double. And still nice trades in here. Maybe not quite as nice. Looks like a small loss here and then a nice winner. And the dark blue trade, if you guys are using Spotlight Power Trader and you're wondering why you don't have it, if you've got the gold membership, this dark blue trade is the same as the yellow trade, but it's set up off the 20 SMA, but it's the same principle. It's where the proximity of our exhaustion dots are, one of them is within 4 ticks of this moving average. And so, as I've shown in the past, if you don't have that setup, you could easily trade it just by grabbing the fib line retracement tool and then setting it up with the Spotlight targeting scheme. And I've shown this a million times, but I'll show it again. But notice how when I draw this, first of all, I use my hotkey to snap this so that it snaps to the high of the bar and the low of the bar. You have to know the strategy. You have to know how to draw. But that's creating your X factor, your multiplier that then gets subtracted from the setup bar. And I've got this preset in my fib line retracement tool, but I'm not using fib retracements, which would put fib lines up above. I'm using instead, I've kind of redefined it to make it a projection tool with the Spotlight targets. And most of you probably know this already, but just to show you, I'm going to open this up and notice that all the fib stuff, they're positive fib line retracements, and I've unchecked them so they are no longer active. And instead, there's additional fields you could type stuff in, and I put in negative numbers and I put in the multiplier. 100%, 150%, 200, 250, 300. You could even add 2 more targets if you want. And by making them negative, it projects, because remember, this is a retracement tool. So by drawing the X factor of the Spotlight that's needed to measure the targets and putting these negative numbers in here, you want to set it as default, hit OK, and then you get a projection tool. And you could literally trade off the blue line or any other line using this concept. And you don't, I mean, obviously these trades print. If you get the diamond level Spotlight, you can print these trades and many others. But if you don't have the diamond level and you want to take the same as the yellow trade, but off of other lines, the 20 SMA is really good as a pullback zone with the exhaustion dots, but there are other lines that work too. But you can merely use this technique and project your targets. And that's how I used to trade. I mean, before Spotlight, I created it and before I had it programmed up, I had to trade like this. And so I would identify the trade in my head and draw it and trade it. And that's basically how the strategy was created in the first place. So it's a good method, and you don't need the strategy if you know how to do this, if you know how the strategy works. Of course, you do want to have your exhaustion dots and your balance line. You kind of need that. That's for sure. And then, of course, your OSOB indicator. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot more you can do with the strategy. I'm still discovering things. And the other day, I was showing you some of the more advanced lines or setups that we can use in the diamond level. And we were taking a look at some examples, and those strategies are looking really good, and I'd be happy to show them to you again. Meanwhile, the trade's over on the pound Aussie. It stopped out at 12. I had already jumped off and moved my stop, and that trade's over, but not before hitting a nice target 1 and target 2. So 1 and done today. Almost a stop and reverse that cancels. And that's it. We're good. That one's done. What is the link to the FX Swing Alert service? Oh, let me grab that for you. Yeah, so our FX Swing Alerts, I mean, it's going on 2 years in June and hitting new equity highs. That's a good sign. Would we have wanted it to hit new equity highs sooner? Yeah, of course. But, the market doesn't care what we want. As traders, we just have to take what the market wants to give us. So, Paul, do you want to see the actual video description and stuff, or do you just want to see the checkout page? I can give you either one. I'm not sure what you're interested in. Dawn asking if Kevin is going to change that. Yeah, I have to go over that with Kevin. I haven't had a chance. Remember, he's had a power outage. Let me explain something to you about Kevin. Kevin is so dedicated to this service and to you guys that he went and slept in his girlfriend's brother's business office, which has a data center that is running and has all these fail safes, leaving his home in a blizzard so that he can do the service for you guys this morning. That's Kevin. And you guys didn't know that, and he probably doesn't even want me to tell you that, but I'm telling you anyway. I have not had a chance to tell Kevin to switch, how to send the stop and reverse. I will. But he's dealing with a major power outage. We missed yesterday, obviously, unfortunately. But I wanted you guys to know because he's doing an amazing job. And he always gets to hear from you guys when there's a losing trade. You guys got to send him some love sometimes when there's a winning trade. He deserves it. I mean, that's way beyond the Call of Duty. He didn't have to do that. Acts of God, Mother Nature, whatever, preventing us from doing the service. I mean, yeah, it's regrettable. But from my point of view, I'm just going to shrug my shoulders and say, sorry, guys, there's a blizzard. There's a power outage for millions of people. No service today. Sorry. And I'm going to feel fine about that. I hope I hope I'm not getting anyone upset. But I'm going to feel fine about that. I'm not going to feel guilty. Not Kevin. He didn't feel fine at all. He's had a scratch he hasn't been able to itch. And so what's he do? He gets in the car, drives through the blizzard, finds himself a solution, and he's calling trades this morning. And it might have been a losing trade, but it wasn't. It was a winning trade. But regardless, I'm proud of him. Paul, I just posted the link for you. Do you see it in the chat? Yeah, Michael, he's in the Houston area. Ramesh says, hi, it has been a while since I've used Spotlight. As you are aware, TJ, do you use a 0.002 momentum bar for CL also? No, good question. So, first of all, you couldn't use that because remember, you have to use the tick values, and there is no 0.00 number with crude oil. You have to use 0.08 is what I like. 0.08 is an 8-tick momentum bar. There is the 0.5. Some people like a 377 tick, but I don't like those with Spotlight. I think the 0.05 is too fast. And the 377, it's not my favorite chart, but I use it with Counterpunch Trader. I like the 0.08 with Spotlight. I think that's the best one. feel free to follow up with other questions if you'd like. But let me just show you on the settings in case you're unaware. I'm assuming you're using TradeStation. If you're using NinjaTrader, it would just be an 8-tick range bar. Okay, and that's the same as what I'm going to show you on TradeStation. On TradeStation, you want a 0.08 momentum bar. See that? And you want to have using 1-tick intervals. Now, I want to show you something else too. I've heard from people that they've tried 1-minute intervals, and the results have been like unbelievable. But when you go back tomorrow and look at the chart, it's not the same, and that's the problem. So you might try. This is an interesting thing I've always wanted to do. I've never had the time to do it, and I'm kind of giving you guys a hint. Maybe you want to try something. Open up your sim trader, do it in a sim account, put it on a 1-minute interval. Look how it changed. And try trading it live for a while and see if it wins a lot. Because I've heard from other traders that they are like, won't trade any other way. They love this. But they realize you can't backtest it because tomorrow the chart looks different. At least that's what I've heard. I haven't explored it, but apparently it's super effective in live trading. So that's a nice little, maybe a fun little thing you guys might want to research on your own and then get back to us and let us know how it went for you. And maybe I'll do it too at some point. But you can see it totally changed the chart. And notice that the other one had a bunch of winners and eliminated some of the noise. So that chart seemed to be less noisy. So it's just that it doesn't load the same tomorrow for whatever reason. I don't know why. All right. Let's see some other questions here. Ramesh. First of all, Paul Lever, do you see? Okay, you just got it. Good. Ramesh. Okay, it looks like you use 0.08 momentum bars. Guess you can ignore previous. Yeah. All right, I'm a little behind in getting to your comments, but yeah, it's an 8-tick momentum bar is the thing you need to know. 8 ticks, and crude trades in 1 penny ticks. So that third digit or fourth digit doesn't work on crude oil. Michael, thanks, Troy. You're welcome. Mike lives in the Round Rock area. Okay, I was in Houston once, but I can't say I would know where that is. Sam P. Sent you an email on Monday after the VIP Platinum Flash. Need time. Sam, I think I responded to you, but I'll look again for it. Maybe you could resend the email too. I've been I have an avalanche of emails, and I may have missed it. I thought I responded, but I could be mistaken. Maybe you could resend it just in case. Sometimes I get an email and someone will send me 99 questions that each one requires a long, thoughtful answer. I'm like, okay, I'll do my best. But then all the other emails waiting to get answered, they're going to wait a little longer. I try to answer all emails as best I can. Some people are they shouldn't be trading. They're afraid of trading, and they ask every single question under the sun that ultimately they're trying to get me to say, you're going to win 100% of the time. That's the motivation behind questions that just endlessly go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. The bottom line is some trades win, some trades lose. Do the pre-production work, create a trade plan that wins more than it loses, and then believe in it. Live through the good, the bad, the ugly, the great. Despite the ugly, witness the equity curve growing, growing, growing. Then spend time learning how to execute the plan perfectly. 25 in a row without a mistake. Do that, and you're 95% better off than any other trader in the world. And it doesn't matter if I answer one of those questions anyway, because it won't change what I just said. All those questions are meaningless. Just do what I just said. That's the secret. That's it. And John's going to put a comment in the chat that I just let the parrot out of the cage. I'm waiting for John to do that. But that's basically it. I've repeated that for 18 years. It still works. And all these other questions, how much did this? What about that? What's the win rate? What's the data? What's the data? Da, 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 da. And basically, if you push away all that stuff, what the guy's really saying is, am I going to make money or am I going to lose money? And like, I don't know. How do I know? I live on the right edge of the chart like anyone else. I'd like to say you're going to make money, but I'm not going to make promises I can't keep. Maybe you'll make money. Do the work I suggest and you'll be in the best position you could possibly be in to make money, but you still have to place the trades. Trades don't happen by themselves. That's a fact that escapes a lot of people. They look back on the chart, see all the winners. I could do that. They didn't realize that winner took like 13 hours or whatever. It only took them 5 seconds to look at it and go, oh, I could do that. Remember, trading doesn't happen by itself. There has to be a trader on the other end placing the trades. I don't know how to tell it any more clearly. Anthony says on Spotlight 1 minute standard settings. What? I don't know. Are you talking about what I just showed you a moment ago with the drop-down menu on the momentum bar, Anthony? I think that's what you're referring to. Let me just pull this up. So if you go to format symbol, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the same chart. It's the 8-tick momentum bar, and usually you want it set to 1-tick intervals. So you could push that down to other intervals. And I don't know what any of these things do. I've never tried them. But I have looked at the 1 minute chart or the 1 minute interval. It's not a 1 minute chart. It's an 8-tick range bar with a 1 minute interval. And you're going to have to read up on what that actually means. I don't even know. I mean, when I turn the light switch on, I walk into a dark room, the light comes on. That's all I need. I don't need to know, the electrons move through this wire and the ground is connected to that. And I don't need to know that. So I don't know this either. But watch how this chart changes now that I've changed that interval. Totally different, right? Anyway, that's what that is. So if you want to check it out and try it. You haven't changed any other settings. That doesn't mean you can't. Maybe you could experiment further. Troy, I found out, are pretty good at responding. Me, you're talking about me good at responding. Good, thank you. I try, I do my best. Ramesh, is the code downloadable? The code. You're going to have to remind me about the code. I don't remember what the code is. Mo. Hey, Mo. Good to see you, buddy. How are things over there in one of my favorite places on earth? Mo is tuning in from the wonderful city of Amsterdam. Can't wait for this COVID crap to be over with so that I can go visit. What else, guys? Now I'm just killing time here. I think we've kind of covered it all, unless you have any questions. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to jump on with John and do the crude oil report at 11. Don't forget, it's at 11. Still getting used to this streaming stuff and pulling in another person and all that. We'll have to figure that out. John and I will talk on the side, and I'll try to jump in on the same session instead of starting a new one and do the crude oil report with you guys. At least that's my plan. I try to do that every week, as you know. What else, guys? Before we say goodbye, I've got to, I actually got a little bit of construction going on in a little while with the carpenter showing up. And my wife is out of sorts without me being there to kind of tell him what to do and this and that. So Probably going to say goodbye to you guys here in a moment. Ramesh, sorry, I lost my connection when I think you answered my question. I write, and assuming you said that it has to be manually managed. Not sure. Why don't you ask me the question again? Let's see. Can strategy be automated on TradeStation? Was that your question? So depends on the strategy. Spotlight has automation. It has a trade assist. I showed it already numerous times. There's different levels of it as well. I'll show you one right now. Actually, let me do this before I go. I want to show you a few things I've been working on. Can I? I got stuff opened up that I don't know if I could actually show it to you today yet. 1 second. Yeah, I had to close stuff because I'm working on other stuff. Let's see what I got here. Well, I got one open. We could look at this one. So I use the automation with Spotlight Power Trader. This is not using the diamond level setups, which is one of the which I showed you in a prior session. I'll show it to you next time, maybe Monday or whatever. But this is a 60-minute chart, and there's not really a lot that I did with it. And one of the cool things about the Trade Assist is that you can pull up a performance report. And this one does pretty good. I think I have another version of it. But I mean, you might go, whoop-de-doo, $18 a trade, but that's with a mini lot. So that's basically, it's got an 18 pip net profit with every single trade, net of all wins and losses. It's, making you maybe even more than that because it's a pound Aussie. It's probably closer to a 22 pip trade on average with all wins and losses. Pretty good, actually. And you could see it's recovered from some drawdowns, and it's just hit new equity highs basically a couple days ago. So I'm whenever I come up with something like this, I always want to watch it for a while. And I've placed a few of these trades too. But this was all done with the automation. You're not going to use it to place trades for you automatically. That's not what you use this for. You use this to prospect and create trade plans and then test and get something that will ultimately work. So when you open up the Master Suite Diamond Level Calculator, you're going to see that there's a lot of setups in here. All these are different setups. And these are some of the things we'll be talking about going forward. I'm going to be showing you, they're often misunderstood what they can do. I showed you how to manually draw this setup right here, the one off the blue line. There's also another one, and then that's the one off the yellow line. So the first three are your Spotlight Power Trader setups, but then you got all these other ones, and they can do some really great things. And so we'll start getting into that more and more with these YouTube live sessions as I show you what these setups can do. So to answer your question, Ramesh, there is a diamond level trade assist that you can test and create stuff with all these setups, any mix or match. Some of them you just use by themselves, like this last one. But you can mix and match a variety of these in different ways. It's really great. There's also these really cool filters that never used to be there before that are in the new. Actually, believe it or not, this isn't even the updated calculator. I need to get the updated calculator that has even additional stuff in it. But there's some really great stuff in here, and you can use it with the automation. And then, of course, Counterpunch Trader has its own automation, and Catapult, which we haven't really looked at for a while, and we'll get into that too going forward, also has automation. And there's a lot you can do with that too. And in fact, I want to show you something that I got. This just came in like 2 days ago, and I want to read it to you because it's pretty cool. Give me a second and I'll get it. I'll leave you with some inspiration here. This is from a longtime member of mine. And I'm not going to, let me see. I don't want to show you the actual, well, let me just grab it first and I'll talk about it. A second. This guy got funded. Okay, so he's using one of my strategies and he got funded. And I want to read to you what he said to me. He's a funded trader now. I'm so proud of him. He's been with me for many years. He's never in the trade room. There's a lot of traders I work with that just don't have time or don't want to do the room, which is fine. This is from Joe Tallarico. And so, yeah, I could show you this. This is here, 1 second. So this came in the other day. He sent me 2 emails. I'm going to show them both to you because these are really cool. Made my day, and I think it'll make yours too. One second. All right, so I took a screenshot. So this just came in, right? You see that? Joe Tallarico here. Hope all is well and sorry to bug you. I wanted to let you know that I've been using Catapult Trader and I'm very happy with it. This might be more of a philosophical question than anything else. I found an NQ trade plan I've been testing with fantastic results. Been sim trading it for 2 weeks and I'm ready to go live, except it keeps winning. And I'm getting superstitious about starting live. So he's asking me, I was wondering if you ever wait for a losing session before you start to trade plan, or just start and let everything even out over the long haul. Just wanted to know your thoughts. So here's an interesting idea. If you got a trade plan that's winning a lot, do you wait for it to lose and then start trading? Because you figure after the losers, the best trades come after, and then the winners come. And it's a really good question. And I don't know the answer, but I think for me, if you have something you believe in, you just set a day, a random day in the future, and you start trading, like when you're well practiced, because you don't know what's going to happen. Just because, what if it doesn't lose for 15 more trades? What if you had 15 winners? You're waiting for it to lose, and it keeps winning. I mean, why? If you believe in it, just start doing it. But don't just start doing it unless you've gone through the steps properly that I just told you about earlier. Make sure you get that 25 in a row without a mistake, that you've built your trade log properly, that you could see the equity going, all that, following the steps properly, which are all in the Steps to Trading Success guide, right? That's in all my member sites. All right, so let me show you the next one. Now, he sent me a follow-up, and the follow-up's fantastic, and I want you guys to see this. 1 second. I didn't ask for these, right? He just sent them on his own, unsolicited. They're the best kind. Okay, let me just grab this really quickly. This is 3 days ago. All right, so a new email 3 days ago. He followed up. Okay, let me get rid of this one. So check this one out. Joe Tallarico. I hope all is well, and thanks for checking in. It means a lot that you take the time to reach out. I don't know if you knew, but I've been a student of yours since way back in the SST days. And you guys remember SST, Seven Summits Trader? Maybe one day I'll pull it out and we'll take a look at it because it's still really good. Okay, I've been involved with all the strategies you've created as well as some of the net picks ones. I always come back because I know that you truly care for your students and you've created viable and successful strategies. And even when I wasn't successful with strategy due to my own issues and not the system, you still allowed me to exercise the money back guarantee. You've earned my trust, and that is why I purchased the Catapult strategy straight up. I have to say that it is my favorite so far because it's so simple. It allows me the ability to focus on the many urgent problems I have with trading, my own psychosis. Simplicity doesn't mean ineffective. I waited a while to write to you because I wanted to finish an ongoing project. I used the catapult strategy to pass a trading combine with Lee Lu Trading and started trading a funded account last week. The NQ has been a bit schizo last week, but I managed to end the week up almost $500 in the funded account. It would have been more, but I made an execution error and entered a trade in the wrong direction. My bad. I'd be happy to fill you in on how I am trading catapult if you like. The hardest part of trading for me is managing myself, and barring blowing up my funded account, I will send you a screenshot of my first withdrawal when that happens, with a note of gratitude for all your help throughout the years. Thank you for all you do. I'm extremely grateful, Joe Tallarico. Man, I can't tell you how satisfying it is to receive an email like that. It's not the first, but they come when they come. I had another guy who's living the life on the French Riviera, sitting on his veranda, drinking his wine, watching all the beautiful people walk by. He's already hit his critical mass trading the DAX with Counterpunch. So it doesn't really matter what strategy you use. It could be Spotlight, Counterpunch, one of the older ones, Catapult, of course. What's important is that you go through the pre-production steps properly. You don't have to overcomplicate things, but you need to build something that you can believe in. If you can do that and then trade it like a business without being a human being, getting your own way, you just execute that plan because you believe in it, because you've proven it to yourself. It will make you money, even though it takes some losses sometimes. It grows your equity. That's the pathway to being successful as a trader. Can you do it? You have to commit to it. If you don't commit to it, you probably can't do it. So start with the commitment, then follow the steps. Follow the steps. Don't skip steps. Take your time. Do it right. The more you invest in your pre-production work, the more likely you are to go into full production, which is live trading, and actually succeed. And I'm going to leave you with that. Hopefully it inspires you to stick with it and examine what you're doing and make sure that you haven't skipped any steps. And if you have, then just take a pause and just go back. Go back and start the steps over again. That should become your trading religion, in my opinion. All right. Hopefully that helps. Yeah. Ramesh says, thanks, Troy. We'll work with it over this weekend before asking any further. Yeah, no problem. Ask any questions. Nothing's off limits. Mo, hope you're doing great. Still on lockdown. Man, well, hopefully we're coming to an end soon with that. Dawn, I'll check your Skype and I'll go ahead and Skype you the file. And Sam, I'll look for your email too. Anything else I missed, guys? Doesn't look like it. Thanks for joining me this morning. Hope you guys are enjoying the YouTube Live. It's kind of interesting. Don't forget to hit the like button, please. The more you guys hit the like button, I see our community is growing. We're getting more people in here, and that's a good thing. I want to have an active community of, you never know what ideas you hear from other traders, and the more people come in, maybe the more inspired and you get that one idea that makes all the difference. So please hit the like. I only see 3 likes, but I see like 24 people in here. So hit the like button for me, please. And everyone have a wonderful day. And I will be back in here tomorrow, if all things go well, to trade the crude oil report with you. Don't forget, it's at 11 a.m. All right, guys, have a great day. See you next time.